problem. I've still got plan C. Ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to the Plan C Podcast, 2025 edition. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you had a great New Year. Hope you had a great holiday season. We are back doing some playoff football stuff. Had to kind of pump the brakes a little bit just because, holidays and then work got kind of crazy. Beyond that, it's been a pretty good stretch. Hope everyone's been great. Make sure, if you're not already, to like, share, subscribe, whether you're listening on YouTube, whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening. Appreciate you. Make sure you're following along. It's been a good stretch here. I've been working a lot, but in film/TV, it's a good thing. Making connections and advancing further. Feeling good about things and happy to be on this silly little rock in the year 2025, in the big 2025, if you will. Anyway, check out previous episodes. Check out episodes coming in the future. I know I talked about that basketball podcast after 20 games. That is about a month late. Sorry, guys. But I'm going to try and... I honestly think I can do it tomorrow night and then maybe get it out on, Saturday? I don't know. We'll see. But this is going to come out on a Wednesday, so happy Wednesday. Hope you're having a good one, whether you're listening in the morning, evening, or whatever. Thank you so much for listening, and check it out. We talked about the first round of the NFL playoffs, all the surprises, all the disappointments. Check it out. See you on the other side. And we're back. Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome back to the Plan C Podcast. We took a little break in recording just with all of the damn holidays and work and just, family time is needed. So, we are now back. Hello. We're going to be, as always, joined by AJ. What's up, AJ? We're going to be covering the first round of the playoffs. I know people maybe were expecting wildcard predictions, but I don't know. We kind of felt that we more wanted to target this next round and we would give reactions to this round rather than predictions. So here we are. I think a great place to start is probably the best game of the slate, at least as of now, barring a miraculous Vikings comeback, which was last night's game, Washington at Tampa Bay. Tampa just kept shooting themselves in the foot over and over again, and that led to a 3-point win by Washington, which still nervy because they kicked a field goal at the last second of the game, and it literally doinked in. Zane Gonzalez, who, y'all might know as the former Browns kicker who missed everything in New Orleans, and I think he was in Arizona for a while, and blah, 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 blah. But Washington is moving on. Jayden Daniels moving on against a decent defense. AJ, what did you think of this game?
Well, first and foremost, have you seen the videos going around of Zane Gonzalez pre-kick?
No, I have not.
Oh, poor guy. I'll have to send it to you. He fixes his hair 15 times. Everyone's making fun of him. He was saying it's like a tick from his OCD. Poor guy. That aside, yeah, I mean it was a great game. Like you said, this was probably the only game, not the only game, but one of the games that I was really I was torn on who I wanted to win. I personally like these teams both a lot. I'm really impressed with what Washington's done. I really did not think that they had it in them. They hadn't beaten many teams with winning records this year, so I was kind of curious to see how they would perform in the playoffs. But on the other hand, I love Baker. I like Mike
Yeah,
Evans.
you're a
So
Baker guy.
I was cool with either way. However this game went, I'm glad that it was a competitive game. But yeah, like you said, Tampa just kind of shot themselves in the foot. That late fumble by Baker really kind of
That
put
was
them in
so
it.
brutal, dude.
And I really think down the stretch of the season. I mean, I know it happened roughly early in the season. Down the stretch of the season, Tampa Bay was really missing Chris Godwin.
Mm.
I mean, McMillan stepped up. He had what 6 touchdowns and he led the league in receiving
Kate
touchdowns the
Otten
last couple
stepped up.
weeks. Kate Otten was gone for a while too. Bucky Irving, phenomenal rookie season. Um, but man, I felt bad that Tampa team. I know you probably don't have the same thoughts, being a rival in the South, but
It,
a good game.
it's weird because while I don't like the Buccaneers, I definitely like Baker. And there's I think this game is very much a microcosm for just like Baker's season, you know. He was 15 of 18. Didn't break 200 yards, but had 2 touchdowns, only sacked once. So when you look at that, you're like, oh, like he only had 3 incompletions. Like we must have won, no? And it's weird because you would think yes, but it's just the situational shit where where it's timing on that one snap where, it's supposed to go to the guy who's running an end around, but it ends up just hitting Baker and Baker fumbles and then fucking Bobby Wagner just falls on it. Do you know how many fumbles Baker had this year in
I
the
do
regular
not.
season?
No, not off the top of my head.
So he lost 2 fumbles, but he had a
Okay.
total of 14.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I do like Baker, but I do think there's an element of turnover that is just within him. And I agree that they missed Godwin and K. Dotton missed some time, and they did get phenomenal help from the rookies. But Baker is still super turnover prone. And, that's okay because I think he makes up for it in a lot of regards. But, what's the ceiling? What's the ceiling? I don't quite know. And so this game, you talked about rooting. I didn't necessarily have a dog in this fight, but I have family in DC who are big commies fans, and my cousin was texting me, and he was like, "Oh, we need like a big stand, da da da. We need something to happen." And so I sent like just a basic gif of baby praying, and like as soon as I sent it, the fumble happened, and I was like, "Dear God, my jinxes are back." Um, so
That
I don't
was
know.
you?
It was me, Baker Mayfield. I'm sorry, it was my fault.
Damn.
Yeah, I know.
Brutal.
Um, but enough about Tampa Bay. Um, I was super impressed with Jayden Daniels. This is a decent defense with good players all around. Levante David, Vita Vea, can go on. And he really handled himself with composure. Only took 1 sack, no picks, no fumbles. Um, he even had, that last 3rd and 1 where it looked like they were going to wrap him up, and suddenly he just breaks through and dives forward, and boom, first down. It just seemed like a really, really, really clear-headed play, I'll say. And I don't know. I think Jayden Daniels has really shown us something. And the rest of the NFL, take note. A rebuild can be as quick as 1 season. And if you get the right quarterback, and if you get the right coach, you can really build momentum very, very quickly.
I don't remember your stance on it, but I thought that Dan Quinn was the worst hire. I
Oh,
think the
100%.
last,
No,
I think everybody did.
I called him White Ron Rivera. Which
You know, shout out to Riverboat Ron. We're gonna be
shout
saying that
out to
guy again.
Riverboat Ron.
But it was impressive. I absolutely hated what Washington did this offseason.
Yeah,
Bringing in Cliff Kingsbury, bringing in Dan Quinn, all these aging veterans like Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz, Austin Eckler. I really did not think it was successful, but I mean, the proof's there. There's no denying that it was successful. So yeah, I think it's the right situation all around. I mean, Jaden Daniels, like you said, played with a lot of poise. He really doesn't look like a rookie. Granted, he is on the older side for rookies. He's
that's
24
true.
years old, but this guy played with Brandon Ayuk in college. Let's not forget that.
That's
But
right. He went to ASU. I keep forgetting that.
that stat always blows my mind that those two were teammates. And Ricky Pearsall. Regardless, no, he looked fantastic. I don't know how much of a shot they're really going to have next week. But
Yeah,
I
because they
mean,
go to Detroit, right?
yeah, it's a team that picked second overall last year. Let's
Yeah.
not, it's a beyond successful successful season so far. Regardless, I should say.
Yeah, and Raiders fans, Browns fans, I wouldn't get too excited. But again, this just shows that it can happen. I'm super excited to see the future of this Commanders team. I think they just got to protect Daniels and it'll keep looking good. They need to get their running game going, though, because if they can't run against Detroit, even though Detroit, I think that defense is gettable right now, I don't know if they can just keep up, unfortunately. I would not
Agreed.
bet on the Commanders. I'll say that. Sorry, my Commanders family fans. Anything else on this game before we move on?
No, I agree with everything you said, especially about Washington going into round two.
Oh, I just saw that video of
Is
Gonzalez.
that not so sad? He's getting made fun of so much. Poor dude.
Has he got like OCD or something?
Yeah, he said he's very vocal about it.
Oh,
That's
okay.
like one of his nervous tics. He's
Damn, and people are making fun of
yeah.
him for it.
Yeah, I mean, as an outsider, if you don't know the situation, poor
Yeah. Without
guy.
the context, you're kind of like hee hee ha ha.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody that nervous for a kick. But hey, good for him.
Good for him. And honestly, like for somebody who we've made fun of for missing many kicks, you just won a fucking playoff game and broke almost a 20-year curse because the last time the Commanders won a playoff game was in 2006. AJ, what were you doing in 2006?
I was 10 years old, man. Probably playing some Dragon Ball Z on my PlayStation 2 back in the day. Messing
Mm,
with some
mm.
airsoft guns. You know how it was back then.
Yeah, no, just vibing.
2006. Gosh, who's the quarterback of been then?
Um, I don't know.
I couldn't even tell you.
I just know that was their last win. '06. How old was I? I was 8, so I was probably, I don't know, playing like Mario Kart or something like that. Anyway, moving on. So weird, sort of weird round because a lot of blowouts, but I think the one blowout that gives us sort of the most to talk about is probably the Chargers Texans. Coming into this game, Justin Herbert had 3 interceptions on the season and ended up throwing 4 in this game alone. Um, I you know I don't I like Justin Herbert. I would 1 trillion% take him as my starting quarterback. But this is kind of inexcusable. And I think people are now going to, especially with this performance, people are going to now start questioning Justin Herbert very, very like with a fine tooth comb, you know, he's going to start getting the Dak treatment, I think, where it's like, oh, well, doesn't really matter what you do in the freaking regular season because you've just collapsed in the postseason. And I don't know how fair that is.
It's very fair. I'm much lower on Justin Herbert than most people.
Okay,
Always have
speak
been.
to me. Speak to me.
I've just never thought he was fantastic. I mean, there's people. I think you could probably go back and find a podcast clip from a couple years ago of me saying this. People have always been consistently for the last 2 3 years. This is his fifth year in the league, right? So last 2 3 years, putting him in the top five quarterbacks in the NFL. I've personally never seen it. You know,
I'm not saying he's top. I'm not saying he's there. I
he
put him
gets that
on.
treatment quite a
He
bit
does get
though.
that treatment. He does get that treatment.
And yes, this year you did take away pretty much all of his weapons from last year. Gerald
Yeah, I
Everett,
mean,
Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler. But I mean, the questions of his playoff success were there before this game, and they go and they're playing. Granted, they're playing not a good Houston team, in my opinion, and they put up that performance was very very poor. Yeah, I didn't realize he had only thrown 3 picks in the season. Good for him. I didn't realize he had that good of a year. Um, but to throw 4 interception, when you have these questions about how poor you play in the playoffs, and then you go first round exit, 4 interceptions. When they lose the way that they lost, and they didn't just lose; they get their asses handed to them.
oh yeah, they
And,
got taken out behind the barn and shot.
and CJ Stroud didn't even play that great. Again, I
No,
think I texted you
yeah, you
early
literally
early in
said
that
Bryce
game.
Young sucks, and I was like, do you mean CJ Stroud?
Yes, I 100% meant CJ Stroud sucks. um, yeah, I think.
He got
I
a
mean,
great
and
performance from Mixon.
yes, and of course another great performance from Nico Collins. Chargers had I mean, they had a fantastic performance from Lad McConkey, excuse me, broke the record for most receiving yards by a rookie in the playoff debut.
That was
Might
really
just be
funny.
playoffs in general.
It was really funny though that they were only throwing to him. Literally
I
14
mean,
targets.
Quinn Johnson had 5 targets and 0 catches, but
Well, that's
uh,
that's indicative of a
yeah.
different thing. That man is
I
just
think
not prepared.
I think on top of the 4 interceptions, that's got to be something you got to criticize. I mean, you could criticize the Chargers for not really having much in place, but I think some criticism has to go towards Justin Herbert as well. Like he did not utilize anybody. Go look at the box stats.
Yeah,
Like
no, for
nobody
sure.
was used
He only had
outside
14
of Lad.
completions.
Crazy performance.
Less than 50%, less than 50%.
I think this team will be like decent enough going forward to be competitive because of Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
But you get another year, another first round exit. What do you consider doing anything? I'll put it this way. He has as much playoff success as Peyton Manning does through the same amount of years in the NFL. So credit him there. They have the same amount of playoff wins through their first 5 seasons. Peyton struggled early as well, but that was the thing that Peyton got criticized until his very last year, where he won his second Super Bowl with the Broncos, was his playoff success.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, if they come out and they shit the bed again next year, and it's another year of whether Justin Herbert has a fantastic year or not, and they just miss the playoffs, I mean, what do? You keep running it back, keep hoping it gets better, keep hoping it works out?
As somebody whose quarterback is Derek Carr right now, I would absolutely run it back. Not with obviously not with Derek Carr, but if Justin Herbert was my quarterback.
Fair.
I think Herbert sort of at worst is like a top 15 quarterback. And I think Harbaugh is an incredibly good coach who is very, very good at maximizing what his players are good at. So I definitely think this performance is worrying, but I don't know. I think you are more skeptical about it going forward than I am. I
I
mean,
mean, they might lose Khalil Mack. They're probably going to lose some key pieces on defense in free agency. Asante Samuel. We'll see how they do. I mean, they got to add some more pieces. They really do.
they definitely do.
They
And they
could
have
have had they could have had Malik Neighbors.
well, a lot of people. Well, no. You take Joe Alt again.
Joe
You
Alt
take
was
Joe Alt.
fantastic. He's
You
a
take
top
Joe Alt again.
tackle. My Again, I don't know if I would. I mean, they already hit it out of the park with Darisaw a couple years ago. Joel's fantastic.
You
They're
mean
lucky
Rashawn
he's
Slater?
playing Rashawn Slater, excuse me, yes. They're lucky that, that Joel is playing as good as he did this year. But I mean, hey, if they have a successful draft like they did last year, if they bring in somebody outside opposite of Lab McConkey, a better tight end than Will Disley, they could be a very fun team next year.
I do think one of the picks just literally bounces off Disley's hands.
Yes,
Like
yes.
not great.
Yeah, he fucked him on that one.
So I do share concerns, just not at the same depth as you do. Yeah, that it's as simple as that. I think maybe I'm a big Harbaugh guy, and so maybe that is making me biased towards the situation because I'm kind of just like, is this the best quarterback he's ever had in the NFL? You know?
It's not the best quarterback he's ever had. I'll tell you that.
No, it's not. That's why I was very specific
In the
with my
NFL,
wording. That's why I was very specific with my wording.
I- um, yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't think that's much of a
I mean, depends how
question.
you feel on Colin Kaepernick. Really, is I think
Yeah,
is that answer.
or Alex Smith.
Ah,
Um, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, thoughts on. I don't want to spend too much time. I could shit on Justin Herbert all day.
yeah.
I genuinely could. I don't know why. I feel a little vindicated. I think I have this hatred towards like other really good AFC quarterbacks. I think it's deep down like jealousy. Because there's some of these guys where I'm just like, you suck. Other side, CJ Stroud. I like CJ Stroud, but I think you gotta be very worried if you're Houston.
I'd be very worried if I were Houston. I'd be more worried if I'm Houston about my quarterback than I would than Los Angeles.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I mean, he looked fantastic last year, right? We've talked about it plenty. He regressed big time this year, and I think one of the issues was go look at what he did this offseason.
Oh, I was
Is
just gonna say that, bro. Straight up just podcasted.
followed Michael Parsons. Where they go to Japan?
Yep. Which
Tokyo.
good content, but you know,
Focus. Yes. Houston brought in. I mean, they kind of went on. Hey, and they might beat KC next week and you know make it
all
to
right,
the championship game.
relax.
I'm not. I don't think that's as crazy of a statement to say.
I think
But
their O line is so fucking bad, and this man CJ Stroud might get eaten alive by Chris Jones.
yeah, yeah, I could see. I mean, it could go either way.
Yes,
I
no, for
think.
sure.
I mean, Houston went all in pretty much. They went out and got Stephon Diggs. They went out and got Daniel Hunter. They added these key pieces that just hey, they won the division, they won the AFC South. Had the Colts not sucked for two more extra weeks, it would have been close again. Um, I don't think they looked that impressive. Like you said, Joe Mixon looked good. What's he gonna bring you next year? No Tank Dell next year. It's the only positive for me out of this game was Kyrie Fairbairn and Nico Collins. That's pretty much it. And Derek Stingley. Sorry, almost forgot
Stingley is
that.
good.
He's the best. He's playing like the best corner in the NFL, in my
And I
opinion.
remember people were very critical of that pick.
I remember he was a fantastic I'm a huge LSU fan. He was fantastic his freshman year, and then his next 2 years was good, but not as great. He probably got picked that high off of that freshman year
Mm.
he had with
Yeah, he
LSU.
went like third, right?
Yeah, he went before Sauce. People
Crazy.
were not happy with that pick, but I think
Yeah, well, Sauce didn't have a great year,
close
so
now.
I think
It's
people are
close
okay with
now.
that. Yeah. Um, so the divisional round now. Sort of touched on Texans Chiefs, touched on Commanders Lions. The most interesting game, in my opinion, Ravens Bills. Uh, Josh Allen and Lamar both had very, very solid games in the wild card. Really just took care of business. And, Denver hung around, but then they missed the field goal at the end of the half. And then it was kind of just, the game was kind of just over from there. Um, Ravens are actually favored by 1.5 in Buffalo. Um, who you got for this?
I genuinely don't know. Do you think this game decides the MVP?
Oh, I hate
It
that.
it it was
Um,
close going. Okay, so Josh Allen was favored up until like Friday, and then it's like a big flip flop, and Lamar is now favored. And I mean, he played fantastic round one. He didn't have amazing stats, but I mean, pretty much played flawless.
I
So what did you say to Josh Allen though?
I would like to say that even if Josh Allen and the Bills win like 34-0 and Lamar looks terrible, I still think Lamar's the MVP. And I say that as a really big Josh Allen fan. Um, I mean, Lamar has more touchdowns, less interceptions, more yards, both in the air and on the ground. And like,
We're all pros around him.
well, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right.
No, I don't like that argument. I have seen that argument around.
But
I
you can see what I'm saying though. Like,
Yes.
I think in this season, both are incredibly fucking viable candidates for the MVP.
Do you
I,
think do you think we'd ever get a co-MVP again? I
well,
don't even know. I
this
was
is
too
the year
young
to
to even know
this
why
is
that
the year to
happened.
do it. This is if you're gonna do it, this is the year. The only other year I would say it could have happened was 2011. Um, but that
I don't
didn't
think it'll
happen.
ever I don't think it'll ever happen
I
again.
don't believe it will, but like it's man, I feel so bad for Josh Allen because I do think Lamar's gonna win this. I think
I,
people are gonna look at the three stats: less interceptions, more touchdowns, more yards by Lamar, and
I
it's gonna
think
boil down to that.
I think that whoever wins this game is gonna take a slight edge. And who's gonna win the game? I have no fucking clue. I genuinely don't. I think you could convince me either team. You know what sucks is that these teams gotta like fight it out before they make their way to the Chiefs. Like they
Oh,
gotta take each other
it's
they gotta take
yeah.
each other out, you know?
They kick the shit out of each other, and then who's up waiting for you? Oh, the fucking 15-2 Chiefs. Like, great, thanks.
Yeah, like the Chiefs couldn't have gotten one of these two teams earlier, you know, so that bums me out. I don't even want to make if you're twisting my arm and telling me I had to pick, I'd probably lean with Baltimore. Have you seen the stats about every time Baltimore has won a Super Bowl?
No, but I am also in the Baltimore camp. It like gun to my head, I think. You know.
I wish I had it pulled up in front of me. But there's like some similarities between when they won the first time, when they won the second time. It's like the record they went is every X amount of years. Let's see, they won in 2012. So it was like every 13 and 12 years. Their quarterback was 28 years old both times that they won the Super Bowl. It was like it was, weird little stats that line up. Um, I would like to see Lamar. I would like to see him get there. If he wins an MVP and wins the Super Bowl,
Whew.
it's like kind of, I mean, fantastic for his legacy and kind of.
I'm gonna say
Just like
something
this.
that you're not gonna like.
Oh,
You know, I love Lamar. I love Josh Allen. But man, I want to see a three-peat Super Bowl. That
do
would
you
be like
really? I have
I
no fucking desire.
I just I am I'm always somebody that will pick history. And I want to pick seeing history. I think that's why, like, towards the end when Brady was still going to Super Bowls, I was like, yeah, like, let's see if he can keep it going, you know? Let's see if he can come back against the Falcons. Granted, that was against the Falcons, and I fucking hate the Falcons, so different scenario. But I don't know. I am, again, I'm always on the side of like, let's just fucking see if they can do it, you know? And maybe not a popular opinion. A lot of people don't like the Chiefs, which I can respect, I can understand. But like, can you imagine if Allen or Lamar wins MVP, they like lose to, they lose to KC in the championship, and then KC goes on and like beats Detroit. I That would
I would
just
hate it.
be, I don't know. I think I would kind of fuck with it.
I've hated all 15 wins from KC this year.
They have been ugly wins. They
They've
have
been
been ugly.
bullshit wins too. Blocks, doinks, BS, interference calls. I've no desire to see it. I genuinely don't.
That's
I,
fair.
I don't even want them to make the Super Bowl just because it's to me and it's very similar to New England back in the day. And they weren't even this bad. Where it's kind of getting old. Like I want fresh matchups. I want fresh blood. Yes, it'd be interesting to look back and be able to tell your kids, "Hey, I saw them win 3 in a row." It's like I wish I could tell my kids I saw the Bills lose 4 Super Bowls in a row. That'd have been cool. So I see what you're saying there, but I mean I just zero desire. Like that would probably be. I would never not watch a Super Bowl, but it'd probably be a Super Bowl that like if I missed, wouldn't be super upset about it.
Mm. That's legit.
Um, but yeah, no, I want fresh matchups, man. I mean, Buffalo, give me Buffalo, give me Buffalo. I would love to see them there just because that's a fresh matchup. It hasn't been that long since Baltimore's been in the Super Bowl. I guess it has, but yeah, I anybody but anybody but KC. I was talking to my dad about this earlier. Like, I don't know what I want. I'd be okay with the Texans knocking them out, so I don't even have to like put up with another week of are they going to go for three? Is KC going to go for three? But at the same time, as a Colts fan, like hearing your biggest division rival made the AFC Championship game would suck. I mean, it's happened. I think I've told you this before. Every team in the AFC South has made the AFC or yeah, the AFC Championship game in like the last 10 years, except for the Colts.
Uh, you know, I have a very similar stat for you, AJ.
Let me hear it.
Uh, in the last 10 years, every team in the NFC South has made the Super Bowl besides the dumbass Saints. How about that?
No. Oh yes, dude. That's
Yup,
dude. That
yup.
is hilarious. I was gonna say there's no
Yes.
way Carolina made it, but totally forgot about Cam Newton.
Yeah,
Wow.
The Cam MVP year.
Our teams really sold their
Uh,
souls for that Super Bowl appearance, huh? At least you guys got a win out of it.
Good times.
Very sad.
Um,
Very sad.
yeah, I don't know, man. Like, our teams are just like stupid fucking like cousins. And they just repeatedly like just, I don't know, we're just in a tailspin right now. And I
Very
swear to
similar
God, if we
situation.
hire Mike McCarthy, I'm fucking, I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't
Oh,
even know.
dude, I'm praying for you that that doesn't happen. I just realized, flip side, we didn't talk about NFC. We didn't really touch on the Packers, Eagles. Super quick thoughts there.
Um, I don't know.
Jordan Love, are you out?
This game went pretty much how I thought it would. Love threw 3 interceptions. We texted a little bit about it, but the sort of lack of a number one for Green Bay, it hurts them. and I think that was put on display this game. Josh Jacobs lost a fumble. You know, I don't know. I don't think there's much to make from this game. I think Green Bay, relative to expectations, had an incredibly hard year. But they also had the two best teams in the NFC record-wise in their division. So it's like, what the fuck you gonna do? I don't know. I wouldn't say I don't believe in Jordan Love. I'm not like a Jordan Love guy. I killed the Packers when they drafted him. I fucking, because I was writing for La Tonique at the time, funny enough. And I killed them. I was like,
I love the pick.
why are you doing this when Aaron Rodgers is clearly fucking pissed? But they're kind of in a situation now that Rodgers was in, where post Devontae, it's like, who's the guy who I'm throwing to on 3rd and 8? You know, it's not
Yeah,
Dontavian Wicks.
They don't have that guy.
It's not Christian Gonzalez. It's not Dobbs.
Ripped his knee. It's not Jayden Reed. It's not Bo Melton. It's not. Yeah, I mean, Tucker Kraft. I mean, he ain't no.
Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna need to make a move. I mean, the reports. T. Higgins. That's another very, 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 very fucking good number 2, but he's not. I don't think that's what they need. I was a little surprised with that game. I didn't think it was gonna be that big of a blowout. I I kind of really didn't expect the Eagles to cruise. Now, after watching them that first round, I do fully expect them to just cruise. They got AJ Brown reading books on the fucking sidelines.
Yeah, that was
He's
jokes.
not even worried. That was so disrespectful. I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think if you're the Eagles, you're too worried, because we're okay. So right now, this podcast is going to come out on a Wednesday. So the Rams are right now winning 27-9 in the fourth quarter. So that means Los Angeles will probably play Philadelphia. And I don't know.
I like that matchup.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a good game. I like that matchup. Yeah.
To be honest, I think Matthew Stafford's going to get his ass kicked, but that's just me.
Yeah. I would low key like to see another run out of Los Angeles.
It would be,
just because like
it would be interesting.
Everyone ripped them saying they sold their souls for that one Super Bowl win, and they kind of did. I mean, they had the whole fuck them picks. They had no first round picks for how many years?
I think it was like 6 or 7.
Something ridiculous. And
got a Super Bowl out of it though.
Got a Super Bowl out of it, and they've like absolutely killed their last few drafts, and they're back. They're back. They have a chance.
Aaron Donald retired, and it really didn't matter all that much.
Yeah, they lost Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald back-to-back years. Yeah, and like you just said, I thought there would be a bigger drop-off, but their defense looks better this year than it did last year.
Crazy. I guess that's what just happens when you hit your fucking picks.
Fuck them picks.
Fuck them picks. Anything else before we get out of here?
No, I'm a little bummed. I was very bummed with, I think I expressed this to you, the first round of the college football playoffs. I did say something to you about it.
Yeah.
They were just, not close games at all. And I really thought that might have like ripple effects next year for the committee.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of a similar situation we had this year. The only game that's been close so far was that Tampa-Washington game. And it wasn't, I mean, it was what they scored 20 or 43 combined points. It wasn't a high scoring game,
Yeah.
Came down to the last second field goals. So there's already reports that they might look at the playoff seeding next year.
Yeah, I saw they might change it so that they're going to make it like the NBA, just where even if you win your division, you're not guaranteed a home playoff game, which I don't.
I kind of like.
But then what are we doing? Why do we even have divisions? Why not just
I see both sides.
A conference, like
I see both sides. But it's crazy when you have I mean, this year, the Vikings won 14 games and they're playing a road game. Granted, the Rams technically
I
are too, right? Go look
yeah,
back at
but
when the Seahawks, 7-9 Seahawks, the Beastquake games, like they're hosting. The Saints had to go to Seattle for that game, and the Seahawks won what 7 games a year.
I
I hate those
and this
situations.
I understand what you're saying, but you know what? If you're Minnesota, you need to win that game in Detroit. You need to prove that, even though your record says what it is, you need to go out and you need to win that game to get that bye. And if you don't, then you don't deserve it.
I see what you're saying, but I think there's a lot of times where these horrible teams or these bad teams in these bad divisions are rewarded more than these really good teams in really good divisions. I see what you're saying. Yes, if they wanted home field advantage, don't shit the bed week 18 against
Yeah.
Detroit.
I
So I wish the first round was a little more competitive than it was. It kind of sucks. I mean, AFC, all wildcard teams got knocked out.
yeah.
That
Yeah,
kind of sucks
and like a team like Denver, I mean, they had one play and that was it.
on their first drive.
On their first drive. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, are we gonna have Washington is gonna be the only wildcard team to make it out? I mean, 1 out of 6 is not fantastic. So a little underwhelmed with the first round. I think the divisional round should be much more entertaining and competitive.
That's fair. Anything else you got before we get out of here?
Nah, man, just looking forward to it. No 3-peat, please, no 3-peat.
Well, I'm certainly excited for the Bills Ravens, and with family who is huge Bills fans, I'm certainly a little nervous as well.
When is that game?
It's Sunday afternoon, I think
They
at
got
like 6.
They got the late,
6
the last
Eastern.
Sunday game.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate the divisional round. The schedule, I've always hated it. On the Sunday, that there's no Sunday night games for like the second to last not regular season, the second to last set of games before the Super Bowl. I've always hated it.
That's fair, but it's kind of nice
But,
for me. So East Coast
Yeah,
bias.
yeah, I guess that's true. That's true.
Hella
It's like the
East
time we
Coast
normally
bias.
Sunday night games. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Cool, man. I'm glad we were able to jump back on.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on, and let's pay attention to when Dion gets that head coaching job from Jerry, huh? How about that?
I wish we had more time to talk about all these head coaching hires and firings and yikes. There's no chance that happens, right? Dion to Dallas.
The Bears interviewed McCarthy today, dude. I don't know. Anything is possible.
That doesn't surprise me. The Bears are so incompetent. Wish we had more time.
Fucking Ryan Poles, dude. I don't get it. I thought you were a good GM. Anyway. Appreciate you for stepping on. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Make sure you're checking out previous episodes. Make sure you are tapped in for future episodes. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. AJ, as always, thank you very much for joining. And have a good night, y'all.
Peace.
Enjoy your Wednesday.